I'm going to tell my fanfiction story now, which is a Sonato fanfiction story. So if you're not familiar with that, it's Sonic and Shadow shipping. It's basically what it is. Now, this story, honestly, has taken me by surprise in terms of not only writing it, but also your reaction to it. Because, folks, I am floored. That as of today, earlier today I checked the numbers and I was shocked that I've got over 1,600. I got 1,700, almost 1,800 hits on this story on AO3, and I have over 100 kudos, and that is the most number of hits and kudos that I've ever received on a story that I've posted on AO3, that I've ever received in a story I've written, period. So thank you for liking my silly story about two teenage angsty gay hedgehogs trying to figure themselves out. I really appreciate you liking this story that I decided to write on a whim during the holiday season, during this break. So yeah, the story is continuing. I will be adding more chapters. We are currently on chapter 8. I'm going to be adding more between now and next week. So there's definitely going to be another chapter up. I don't know if there'll be 10 chapters in this story, maybe 15. I'm banking closer to 10 because I like to keep my stories relatively short. But I may continue on with a spin-off of this story. It's funny because they're hedgehogs. I may continue on with another extension of the story. I may have, Sonic and Shadow's relationship deepen even more. Because right now, things are just getting started. They are just heating up between the two characters. And so I think that, this story is based on the Sonic movie universe. So as it shows here on the slide, it's the live action universe. And so the characters there are modeled after those characters. But in terms of lines from the movies are there, lines from the trailers are there for Sonic Movie 3, but not the storyline itself. I've veered off from that path, so know that if you read this story, it's going to be spoiler free, so you're not going to be spoiled for Sonic Movie 3. Unless you've never played Sonic Adventure 2 before, in which case I'm sorry. You're going to be spoiled because if you've never played Shadow the Hedgehog or Sonic Adventure 2, you might be in trouble because there's elements of those games in this story too. Otherwise, it's just a chance for me to share my creative stuff, and that includes this fanfiction. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read chapter 3 of It's Complicated. Like I said, I think I'm going to stop reading here. So I think this is going to be the last chapter I'm going to read from this story because I feel that it's a good stopping point before things get more intense and before we move on to, the later chapters in this ever-developing story. So by the way, yes, I do know how this is going to end. And there's a reason why the title is called the way that it is. So I'm going to read chapter 3 to you all. This is called Night of the Wind, which is a title of a Sonic song that is not from Sonic 06. It's from Sonic and the Black Knight, which I never played. There's a lot of Sonic Boost games that I never played. Oops. I skipped over a lot of them, which is weird. I didn't play Sonic Heroes. I didn't play Sonic and the Black Knight. I didn't play Sonic and the Secret Rings because I didn't have that console, I don't think. I didn't have the Wii. I didn't play Sonic 06, but I might. I might try Sonic 06. I don't know. Because I like Kingdom Valley and Shadow Generations, and I'm like, oh, that's a bummer that people trash this game because I like that level. So we'll see. Maybe I'll play Sonic 06. Maybe I'll give it a chance. But I hope that you give me a chance, and I hope that you enjoy this story that I'm going to share with you tonight. The title, once again, is called It's Complicated. This is a Sonato story, so warning, there is gay tension. They're shipping between two anthropomorphic hedgehogs, Sonic the Hedgehog, Blue Justice, and Shadow the Hedgehog, Hot Topic. The summary for this chapter is that Shadow is going to make his way over to Sonic, and are they going to confront each other, basically. Dawnlight filtered in through the den opening, slowly chasing the darkness away, until it engulfed the sleeping form of Shadow. He was on his side in the fetal position, half buried in the leather beanbag chair. Sonic's old discarded hoodie was zipped up to his chest fur patch. The hood itself contorted around his upward-bending facial quills, keeping the top of his head somewhat warm. He rolled away from the approaching sunbeams and scowled, scrunching his nose, squinting his closed eyes in irritation. Shadow grunted and groaned, not quite sure where he was. "Where am I?" he mumbled, the light forcing him to open his crimson eyes. Then he remembered. Ah, right, the other hedgehog. Shadow sat up and pressed his palms into his eyes. The hoodie slowly felt constricting to him, and he felt his skin itch below his quills. Ugh, this was never washed, was it? He asked aloud as he threw back the hood and unzipped himself out of the jacket's tight confines. He stood as he undressed and then gently folded the hoodie in half. He placed it in the warm middle of the chair, his body's impression still clear in the leather. Shadow stretched and tilted his head from side to side, hearing the cervical vertebrae pop into place. He felt hunger screaming inside, but suppressed it. He knew that stopping to find food would only slow him down. Shadow emerged from Sonic's old den, shielding his eyes from the sun, despite being deep within the forest surrounding Green Hills. The mist-laden air, heavy with the musk of the Douglas firs, made his skin shiver and quills rise. The faintest smile crossed his lips, a rare occurrence. He squeezed his hands into fists to activate the airshoe boosters. "I know your scent, Hedgehog. Now I have to find your new home and bring you to the doctor," Shadow decided aloud as he raced back to the town center. Sonic, in the meantime, had already gone for a run around the Wachowski property twice. For some reason, he wasn't interested in exploring more of Green Hills that day. He wanted to be close to Tom and Maddie. Tails and Knuckles were in town having breakfast with Wade, who offered to give them a ride in his sheriff's patrol car. Sonic sat at the wooden dining table, the warm sunshine passing through the large bay windows, lighting up the sunflowers that adorned the pale green painted walls, the white floors and marble countertops glistening. And when Maddie presented Sonic with a stack of pancakes for breakfast, Sonic took one look at them and then away. He sat staring at them, pushing the maple syrup with his fork into a blob that resembled an alien rising from a primordial ooze. He was quiet, an unusual phenomenon for the boisterous blue hedgehog. "Sonic, what's up?" Maddie wanted to know, as she went to the stainless steel sink to clean up the dishes. Tom leaned against the counter and drank a glass of orange juice, staring at Sonic curiously. "You usually scarf down my pancakes in seconds flat." "I don't know," Sonic trailed off. He smooshed the maple syrup alien into a flat blob with the back of his fork, then started to cut into the soft, perfectly cooked pancake stack. Maddie and Tom looked at each other. Tom nodded to her, and they moved into the next room. Maddie kept an eye on Sonic, who was actually eating slowly for once, before the kitchen door was gently shut. "What is going on?" Maddie wanted to know, both irritated and concerned for her hedgehog son. "Sonic's been having flashbacks again, Maddie," Tom sighed, folding his arms against his chest. Maddie nodded, then continued. "Even when he's upset, he always eats, Tom. This must be really bad." He told me he dreamed about another hedgehog." "What? Another one?" Maddie wanted to know, throwing up her arms and hands in frustration. She kept her voice down on hearing the knife and fork scraping against the plate in the kitchen. "We already have 3, Tom. I don't know if we can handle 4. I mean, we already have..." Both Tom and Maddie were shocked to see their dog walk past them, as if on cue. The dog sauntered into the kitchen through the open door. Sonic stared at them sadly and shut the door as the dog ate the pancake stack greedily off the floor. Maddie's jaw dropped in indignation. "That boy, did you see that? I worked hard on those today." She waved her arms angrily in the direction of Sonic. "Maddie, I know. I ate them at least." Tom squeezed her shoulders, his loving gaze trying to calm his wife down. Maddie took a deep breath, shook her head, and continued, "Anyway, so he had a dream about another hedgehog. I mean, a flashback? Well, I am worried about it, Tom. I know you've been having your father-son bonding talks on the lake, but I don't think they're getting through to him." "I know," Tom sighed, shaking his head, rubbing the back of his neck in frustration. He started to pace the floor. "Sonic has been more and more distant from us every week since we got rid of that robotic guy," Maddie sighed sadly. "I know it's a part of his growing up, but I'm concerned there's something else going on in that fuzzy blue head of his. There is. Tom faced away from Maddie. He swallowed hard, closed his eyes, and then quietly said, Sonic said he thinks guys are hot. Maddie started to laugh. What? She wanted clarification. Sonic thinks guys are hot, Tom awkwardly repeated. Both Hedgehog parents were silent for a beat. Maddie's face went from uncertain to understanding in seconds. Oh, I see. Her softened expression became one of sympathy. Well, I could try and have a chat with him. See how that goes. I know the training Sonic's been doing with Knuckles and Tails in the woods helps to take the edge off, but if Sonic's hormones are starting to kick in, God knows what'll happen now. She laughed at the end of the sentence, shaking her head. He's fantasizing about another hedgehog, huh? Maddie, Tom frowned, disapproving. Well, I don't know how his species is when it comes to this kind of stuff, Maddie tried to explain. I mean, I know Knuckles is the red one, and Tails is the orange fox. Maybe he's crushing on another Knuckles? Wait, is there another species like Knuckles? I never knew Sonic would be the one to grow up first. Anyway, I'll talk with him while I get some gardening done. Perfect spot to talk about the birds and the bees, Tom grinned, and he embraced Maddie, then kissed her on the lips softly. I guess being a vet does have its advantages, Maddie smiled at Tom, and then the two re-entered the kitchen. Sonic had cleaned the entire room as they talked, his headphones blasting rock music into his ears as he stacked the pristine plates in the cupboards. The dog was laying flat on the floor under the table, looking extremely guilty as Maddie collected the now clean plate covered in slobber and crumbs. Live and learn! Yeah, Sonic sang along loudly with the rock music. Maddie gently pulled the headphones off his ears while giving him the plate. You'll learn to say thank you for the pancakes, Mom. Maddie scolded him with a smirk. You missed one. Huh? Sonic was startled, almost dropping the plate. Then he caught it and smiled back, his green eyes catching the light like the facets of an emerald. Oh, right. Thanks, Mom. And Sonic immediately cleaned the plate in the blink of an eye, then stacked it with the rest. Then he pecked Maddie on the cheek and replaced his headphones. A perfect way to distract them from ever realizing it was Tom's best friend eating those pancakes. Sonic 1, Pretzel Lady 0, Sonic thought. As Sonic started to leave the kitchen, Maddie shouted, Sonic, how about you help me with the garden today? I need some weeds pulled, and you're the perfect critter for the job. And we can get chili dogs afterward. Sonic paused, turning down the volume on his headphones for once to hear chili dogs. What? Weeds encroaching upon my backyard? Not with Blue Justice around, trademark pending. Where do I start? Sonic put his headphones around his neck. He then turned toward Maddie and was about to bolt through the back door into the yard to yank the weeds when Tom blocked him, moving toward him so that he bumped into Maddie. I think you and Maddie need to talk, Sonic, Tom grunted, putting his hands on his hips. Uh-oh. He's getting into cop mode. Now I'm in trouble, Sonic thought. Oh, I see. Sonic looked over to Maddie and then back to Tom. The guilt in his eyes was clear. His face fell. Well, I'm sorry, guys. The truth is, I couldn't eat today. Sonic, you always eat, Maddie said softly, looking over to Tom and then to Sonic. I know, but for some reason, I feel off lately. Well, Maddie led Sonic to the backyard. Let's talk about it together while we pull weeds, huh? And I promise, we'll get some chili dogs afterward. Okay, Sonic sighed, feeling defeated. That caught me. Pretzel Lady 1, Sonic 0. Maddie watched as Sonic shuffled to the backyard and closed the door behind them. Tom decided to get ready and get back to work, to check in on Knuckles and Tails with Wade. Shadow paused his run, hunger and thirst distracting him. He was near a long stretch of road that wound its way through the mountains and eventually passed through a series of homes nestled in the woods. He found the town's welcome sign, the bright yellow and green paint faded from years of sunlight and water damage. Green Hills, he read, and scoffed at the joyful person on the sign. The road was salted, or else the black ice would have prevented anyone from driving anywhere. Shadow was tempted to taste it, but ignored his hunger pangs yet again. I don't have time for this, he thought. The doctor wanted to bring him that other hedgehog, and if I eat, I'll lose his scent, though somehow it's strong here, very strong. He must have passed by here many times. Shadow considered his next move. He retraced his steps mentally from Sonic's den to the road. He was smart. Very smart. Close enough to town to get food and clothes. Maybe he ran down the road and found some humans to pity him, enough to take him in. If so, I must follow his scent still further, but it's growing faint, and now I'm in broad daylight. If I'm seen, it's over. Shadow noticed the sign and wandered over to hide in its shade. In that precise moment, Tom drove past him in his sheriff patrol car. Shadow hunkered down and ducked his head into his arms and knees, as if preparing for a bomb to go off. He waited until the roar of the engine faded in the distance, toward the town center, and slowly emerged from his crouch. A turtle had meandered by his right ear shoe, sniffing it curiously before ambling off toward the roadside. "You pathetic life form!" Shadow hissed softly at the turtle as it clambered up the tiny hill to the asphalt. Don't go that way! You'll be crushed!" Panic strangled his voice as the turtle's paw had gripped the tarry road, and he was forced to duck down as the menacing rumble of a motorcycle engine grew louder. In seconds, Shadow bolted from his hiding place by the sign. He grabbed the errant turtle and was surprised at how slick its skin was in his gloved hands. The motorcyclist saw Shadow and cried out, slamming on the brakes. The bike flipped to the side, the biker careening away from Shadow and the rescued terrapin. The motorcycle skidded to a stop, mere centimeters away from Shadow's feet. The biker was groaning, holding his helmeted head in his hands. The bike itself was unscathed, a black and red motorcycle, its chrome parts glinting in the morning light. Shadow dropped the turtle, stunned by what just happened, as well as by the beautiful bike before him, and it wandered back to the sign by the side of the road. Shadow started to right the bike when the motorcyclist yelled, "Hey, that's my ride!" after spitting blood onto the pavement. Not anymore. Shadow revved the engine, and a genuine smile lit up his face. He sped past the motorcyclist and didn't look back. He sifted through the smells of the diesel engine, the speeding asphalt, Douglas firs, and once again found the intense citrus notes of his quarry. Might as well arrive in style. Huh. Sonic, in the meantime, was worried about his own lifestyle choices. What would Maddie and Tom think of him if they knew? He pulled the long tundra-like weeds up from the soil, irritated with how they fought his grip. Maddie watched him and tended to the areas he cleaned with the rake, ensuring the seeds she planted were deep enough in the soil. "Sunflowers, huh?" Sonic read the seed packet as he pulled up another weed. Maddie smiled, her face somewhat obscured by a large sun hat. "Yes, I thought you liked them. Do they remind you of your first home?" Sonic paused. Tears started to fill his emerald green eyes. "Green Hills here is my home now," Sonic mumbled. Maddie paused her gardening to give him a side hug. "Oh, I'm sorry," she sighed, shaking her head. "I thought you'd be happy seeing them." "Well, the flowers are lovely. No, that's not the problem, Maddie." Sonic went back to pulling weeds. "Then what is?" she wanted to know, her tone becoming gentle and curious. They were quiet for a beat, the scrape of the rake against the fresh soil, and the yank of the roots of the weeds filling the silence. "Maddie," Sonic began, taking a deep breath, "on my home world, I only like the other boys in Longclaw's school." "You went to school?" Maddie wondered, more worried about that than Sonic's admitted preference in relationship. "Yes," Sonic smiled, stopping and tossing the weed into a green bin behind him. He rested against it. Don't worry, kids, they're not doing drugs. He rested against it, the warmth from the sun seeping into his skin, making him shiver involuntarily. He sighed, reveling in the feeling and the memory. Longclaw was an owl, and my mom, and she was the headmistress of a school in Mobius. She taught fledglings, little baby owls so cute, and foxes and pigs and chickens, but I had a crush on the coolest kid on the whole planet. Another hedgehog, if you can believe it. And I never know what happened to that little guy. But I don't think any of them survived the siege. And Maddie listened attentively to Sonic's story. She set down her rake and sat beside him, letting him lean his head into her shoulder as he spoke. "Maddie," Sonic wanted to know, his voice dropping to a quiet, ashamed whisper, "do you think it's wrong to like someone of the same sex as you?" Maddie was quiet for a beat, gently stroking Sonic's ears and quills with one arm, the other lifting his chin. Sonic's eyes were once again filled with unshed tears. She could see the fear in his eyes, the shame. How long has he been afraid of this side of himself, she wondered. Then aloud, "No, Sonic. It's not wrong at all. It's natural. All kinds of animals are, well, let's call it what it is, gay. There's no shame in that, baby. Love is love is love. It's who you are inside that counts. Sonic buried his head in his hands and wept. Maddie was stunned. She instantly rubbed his shoulders as he sobbed, feeling their tension start to ease at last. This guy, this other hedgehog, he reminds me of the boy I knew, Sonic mumbled, his voice muffled as he wiped his tears away. Ow, potting soil is not good for my eyes, he groaned, and Maddie tried hard not to laugh as she wiped his tears away with nearby clean paper towels dipped in water. What guy? Maddie wanted to know. This dream hedgehog person, Sonic grunted, looking away now, frustrated with himself. He kicked a nearby rock and rested his arms on his pulled-up knees. This stupid dream keeps repeating itself. It's really annoying, like a looping ad that won't stop playing over and over, no matter how many times you press skip on the remote. And Maddie tossed the rock in the green bin, listening to Sonic's plight. Maddie, this black and red hedgehog is the dreamiest guy on Earth. Sonic crumpled into a blue ball of tears again. Maddie put the gardening tools away and ordered chili dogs with DoorDash on her phone, then returned to sit by Sonic again. Dense storm clouds began to gather on the horizon, making the warm sunshine fade and the air temperature drop. He's not even real. It's so stupid. What am I even thinking? Sonic agonized. Well, dream or not, I'm glad you told me how you feel today, Maddie sighed. She stood. Come on, let's get inside. It looks like a storm is coming, huh? And I ordered you your favorite chili dogs. The Dasher's on the way. Maddie helped Sonic to his feet and wrapped an arm around him as she led him back inside their house. How do I stop thinking about this imaginary guy? Sonic wanted to know. As they went in the living room, he slumped on the couch, his head in his hands, glum. Well, I'm sure food will fix it for now, Maddie shrugged. It's been a minute since I felt that way, honestly. Since I've been with Tom, I can't think of being with anyone else. She sat across from him in Tom's recliner chair. Lucky you, Sonic growled, rolling his eyes. His moodiness was a new thing, and Maddie grinned at it, enjoying the challenge rather than running from him. Well, hey, come on now, Maddie patted his knee in a patronizing yet affectionate way. Your luck will turn eventually. Who knows? Maybe the DoorDash guy will bring you a crush. Ugh, right, like that'll ever happen, Sonic grunted, looking around for his half-eaten bag of Doritos. Shadow loved the feel of the wind in his quills as he drove the motorcycle down the empty streets of Green Hills. He was thankful the place was devoid of people, for now he had the pleasure of the open road all to himself. Driving this thing is like running in my air shoes. Effortless, efficient, liberating me to explore all in my path. It was then that he noticed the smell coming from the back of the bike. Hot chili, melted cheese, grilled onions, and a roasted hot dog. Shadow felt his whole body ache and tremble more than the bike that rattled his bones as he drove. And then Shadow recoiled in horror as he heard a high-pitched ringtone. An ancient Motorola ringtone, arising from the phone nestled in the bike's rack basket. Sonic would have clocked it as the ringtone from Jurassic Park 3, an equally ancient relic of cinema. So that ring... That's my cat, by the way, with her bell ringing. It's great timing. Maddie stood in the kitchen, one hand on the phone, the other on her hip. The nerve of these drivers, always so late, she snarled. You pay for a service, and what do you get? The arpeggio of the ringtone had continued, and Shadow felt his stomach sink. What do I do? How do I stop this machine? He panicked. He tried searching for the brake, and then he realized it was in the handle. He slowly squeezed his hands. The front tire slowed, and he instinctively slammed his right foot down. The bike stopped. He felt the heavy bike tilt and stopped it with a loud grunt, using all his strength to keep it from falling. He twisted around, groaning, and found the annoying phone. He swiped right to answer it. Hello? Maddie shouted now, taking on her sister Rachel's tone. Listen, driver, it's been 30 minutes. 30 since I ordered. You better not have eaten those chili dogs, because if you have, I swear to God, it will be your last day on this earth. Do you hear me? Goodness, you're rude, Shadow gruffed, struggling to hold the bike as he talked. I'm on the way now, but I seem to have misplaced your address. Do you mind sharing it again? Shadow's voice dropped to a velvety smoothness, and Sonic happened to overhear it. Sonic blushed fiercely, dropping the empty Doritos bag on the floor. Oh my God, he sounds just like Keanu Reeves. So hot. Oh, why does he sound like that? He could have sounded like Gilbert Gottfried. Maybe that would have been better. Sonic overheard him again. Got it. It's on the way. As am I. The motorcycle revved and Sonic's heart began to race faster than usual. You better be, because if you aren't, Hello? Hello? Maddie hung up the phone with an angry press of a button. Set it on... By the way, I miss the days you could actually hang up a physical phone if you're angry. Set it on the table. You risk breaking the glass. And stomped up to the backyard patio to do some stretches to work off her anger. Maddie? Sonic panted, running to the backyard. He bounced up and down, suddenly excited. Who was that? Your DoorDash driver, Maddie grunted, whipping her arms and legs into a sharply posed Warrior 3. Maddie, do you agree that words are spells of what you just said came true? Sonic was in disbelief. He started to do practice laps around the backyard, instinct kicking in. Sonic, look. Maddie shifted into Warrior 2. Teeth still set in anger. That guy was very rude. He's 30 minutes late. The worst driver I've ever spoken with. Seriously. Maddie, what are the odds that Keanu Reeves is delivering my order? Sonic was thrilled. The rumble of the motorcycle in the driveway made Sonic stop talking and running, and a few things gave Sonic the Hedgehog pause. Shadow got off the bike as carefully as he could. He inhaled the delectable scent of the chili dogs for a final time, and then closed the white paper bag gently. He squeezed his fists, alighting his air shoes. I found you, at last. The wind whirled the leaves in the backyard into a dust devil, twirling in a circle. Maddie frowned at the omen. Sonic just laughed as the leaves swirled around him and drifted up in late morning air. Shadow looked up at the ranch house in the middle of the Green Hills Forest Mountains. He smirked. Charming abode, Hedgehog. Quiet, away from people. Not a bad choice. I respect that. Sonic bolted from the backyard of the front door, and Maddie tried to stop him, but her movements were in slow motion compared to Sonic's speed. As he made his way up to the steps of the Wachowski porch, Shadow realized, the humans can't see me here. Not here, not now. I have to leave the order and run. Damn it. So close. But you cannot escape my grasp forever, Hedgehog. I will return. Sonic answered the front door, hope in his eyes, adrenaline coursing through his veins, but all he saw was a bag of food, a scrawled note on it. Sorry it's late. S. S? Sonic wondered. The guy had good handwriting. Regular Alexander Hamilton over here, he thought, as he brought the bag inside. Thanks for the chili dogs, Maddie, he gruffed, heading up to his room in the attic. At least they're still warm. And that is the end of that chapter for the read for tonight, for It's Complicated. I hope that y'all enjoyed that read. I hope that y'all had fun with the stream tonight. I hope that you are enjoying this stream. I hope that you're enjoying everything that I'm sharing with you tonight here on Twitch. Feel free to go ahead and give me a follow if you're more interested in my gameplay that I'm doing. I do Shadow Generations gameplay on Sundays. I'm going to be playing other Sonic titles on my PC. I play them through Steam, and I also stream them live here on Twitch as I play. These sessions are recorded and they will be posted to YouTube, and I hope that y'all enjoyed that story on AO3. I'm going to see me struggle, get through it, and we'll get through it together, and I hope that you enjoy it, and thank you. Thank you all so much for your support, for your kindness. Thank you for watching the VODs. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel, and most importantly, thank you for being here. Thank you for making the time out of your busy day, whenever it is, whatever time it is, whenever you are, wherever you are. I hope that you are going to have a fantastic new year. I hope that you all had a great holiday season. I know that all the major holidays are done at this point, and if you are going back to work, I hope that that goes well for you. Otherwise, I really look forward to seeing you all on Sunday. So please take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all then. Bye, everybody.